Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jack, back in to bring you a 7.2 first look at Disc Priest, what we know so far, and where we think that Disc Priest might be headed. So, we don't have all the information yet, we haven't seen much of the balance changes yet, but we do know what's going on with some of the artifact traits and the set bonuses from the early first look. So, going into it, your 35 to 54 Paragon traits are being rolled into basically 2 traits. And you're getting a refund for, I believe what the dev said, 4 traits when the patch drops. If you're at 54 traits, you'll be able to get 4 for free. So, of course, you'll still have the first bit of your Paragon, which will be the 4%. And when you unlock this, you'll unlock the new traits, and you'll be able to start the path here. And then you'll also be able to add 1 extra trait to your original 3 of 3s, right? So now we become 4 of 4s. So with those early 4 traits, you might do something like add in Confession and Edge of Dark and Light, and then probably start working on Will of the Conclave. You know, Will of the Conclave is just the rest of your Paragon trait, so it's 36 to 54, so you'll be getting that immediately because it's a huge, huge bonus. And then you can start working on the 404s that are going on. So, first 404 is the Lenience's Reward. Atonement reduces the damage taken by 2%. Now, this may not look like a lot, but this is actually super, super crazy strong. In progression, this is going to be absolutely vital to get very, very quickly. The amount of damage that you can reduce just by, having Atonement out on people, it's just going to be so, so heavy. You're going to be doing many, many millions of damage reduced by the entire raid just by having this, So, even something very simple of just keeping it on the tanks, for example, will be reducing many millions of damage on them, make life a lot easier in progression in many, many forms. So, this will be very, very strong. The only thing better than this is, of course, going to be Confession, the Penance. There's nothing going to be better than this, of course. So, if you're getting any of the hybrid relics, there's going to be hybrid relics next patch where you're going to have 2 traits on 1 relic. That'll be something where you'll start looking at Confession and Lenience's Reward as a combo for probably one of the best options you could possibly get. So keep an eye out for this. This is super, super strong. After that, we have Tyrant of Pain. So 1 of 1, Pain Suppression also heals the target for 33% of the damage prevented. So this is absolutely very, very good in many situations. I don't think it's going to average out to be mega high. It'll make your legendary bracers a little bit stronger, but I'm kind of interested to see if it's like a lump sum or it's probably going to be something along the lines of just a hot that occurs after a damage is taken, any kind of damage that is taken. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what goes on with it, but pretty good, pretty solid trade overall. We have Aegis of Wrath. Light's Wrath also applies an absorb shield equal to X% of the amount it heals. We don't really know what the percentage is going to be. I would estimate it to be like 25-40%, something around that bracket. So it won't be absolutely absurd because also it's probably going to be only actual healing done. Overheal will not be a factor in it, I would imagine. So it'll be something where it'll probably be pretty good, probably be pretty decent. It's not going to be something that's going to break the game or anything like that. I would probably still put something like Power of the Dark Side over Aegis, but we'll see. That's also partially due to the fact that Power of the Dark Side is going to synergize really well with your 2 set, which we'll talk about in a minute. And yeah, so it'll be pretty good. Something definitely you're going to worth going for. Now, your Paragon trait, this has 50 traits. Thank you, Blizzard. It's Concordance of the Legion Fall. So the first trait that you get into it is increasing your primary stat by 2,000 for 10 seconds. It's about 1.37 procs per minute. So it'll be, a pretty decent proc chance for 10 seconds. So the first trait gives you 2,000 of your stat. Every other trait after that gives you an extra 200. So while this is probably not as good for disc as just a flat increase would have been, it's still kind of decent. It's something that if it procs during a ramp up, it's going to be fantastic. But it'll probably average out to only occasionally procking during a time that you would like it to be. So it's kind of okay. And it'll definitely be important to get the first trait. But by that time, you'll have the first trait, and you'll probably already have 4 of 4, 4 of 4 into Edge, Dark, and Light, and Confession, maybe even Borrowed Time, something like that. Some of the vital ones that you'll want to be getting first, maybe in Rapture, stuff like that. So you'll ideally be getting that in, and then you'll probably start going for Doomsayer, Borrowed Time, things like that. Now going on to your set bonuses, your 2 set is insane. Like 2 set bonus, first bolt of light from your penance deals an additional 200% damage. There's no holds bar. There's every single penance that you're doing is just going to be, the first tick is doing like 200% more damage. So absolutely crazy. I actually don't think this is going to make it live in that form. I don't know how it would, but if it does, all the more crazy. This is one thing that you're looking at is going to be dealing so much more damage, especially if you're going to be having, you know, say Power of the Dark Side up, where it's going to be increasing in how it'll interact with how much it's increasing your penance damage. So it might even be rivaling Light's Wrath in some situations, and of course it's just going to be having, you know, such a cheap cost. It's just so much damage. So Disc is definitely getting a damage ramp up in many ways, and the penance and confession traits just get all the better because of it. So your 4-step bonus, Powered Shield is a 25% chance to cause your next penance to be free, and a 50% reduced cooldown. So again, more extra damage that you're getting out of this, and just making it so much easier for you to burst people up so rapidly. This effect is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, I don't know if your 2 and 4 sets are going to make it this way to live, but if they do, Disc is going to be destroying people. It's going to be absolutely absurdly powerful. So, I mean, I'm kind of hoping that it would be, because I think it'll be a very engaging style and it'll be very challenging. But also very nice and very favorable for Disc, because as we're getting later into these expansions, damage is always going to get burstier and burstier. If you're comparing, say, like a Cenarius fight, where originally, you know, before everyone just bursted it down like Mongoloids, you would just have to go through the fight. There's constant damage going on that you'd have to be healing up, and you start comparing it to, as we're getting into some fights, kind of like Crosis, for example, which is just straight up bursts, and you just have to burst people up very quickly. Then you have a little bit of downtime where it's tank healing, and then it's more bursts, you know. So as we're going later into expansions, you're always going to see the fights ramp up in burst damage and be a lot more challenging to heal up very rapidly. If that's the case, Disc is going to get just incredibly powerful. They're going to be dominating in every way, because they will be able to burst people up so rapidly. They're always going to have penance available to do so, so it's going to be a very good time to be a Disc, if the fights are as favorable as historically they have been later on. So keep that in mind. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick look. I will be making more videos and stuff like that as we are getting more information for what 7.2 will be bringing us. Hope you all enjoy it. Have a good one, and I'll see you all next time.